In love with my best friend's wife. Insanely jealous of his entire life, and now they just announced a pregnancy. I want to never hear from them again. I am 30 me, so is he. She is 28. They have been together 9 years, and they just recently got married. I've known him since we were kids, and I have had a crush on her since they started dating. She is so adorable and so sweet, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. She is always happy and smiling. When my brother passed away, she brought me dinners and baked me things for like months. She always makes the whole group sandwiches, cookies, etc. when we're golfing or traveling. She's genuinely just amazing, and I would ruin my friendship with him for her. Although I know for a fact she'd never go for it. One time when she was dropping off sandwiches. For me, for work, when I lost my brother, I almost made a move on her and held back because she would immediately run and tell him. He also has an amazing job and makes 3x my salary despite the fact we took the same university program and worked harder than him. He partied constantly while I stayed in for nothing. He has a nice house, an amazing wife who's a housewife and pregnant. Not sure how far along, but when I found out, I was not happy for them at all, which is prompting this post. My heart sunk when I saw it. I'm single, living in an apartment. I don't like any of the women I meet other than her. I hate my best friend's guts, and I'm starting to hate her too because I know she would never date me. Even if she was single, it's messed up. But sometimes I literally lay in bed and pretend she's laying next to me. I fixed my neighbor's sink. 2 months later, he left me his house. I've lived in the same apartment for almost 10 years. Quiet place, mostly retirees. One of them was a grumpy old guy who never smiled and always wore socks with sandals. 2 months ago, I heard banging and cursing through the wall. I knocked and found him standing in a puddle with a wrench in one hand and a YouTube tutorial paused on his iPad. The kitchen sink was spraying water like a busted fire hydrant. I'm no plumber, but I offered to help. Took me an hour, 2 towels, and 1 trip to Home Depot. When I finished, he just grunted and said, "Huh, thanks." After that, I started checking in. Bringing his mail up, picking up his meds. Talking baseball in the hallway. He never said much, but he'd nod a little longer each time. 2 weeks ago, he passed away. Massive heart attack. I figured that was that. Yesterday, a lawyer called me. Turns out he left me his condo and his will. Paid off, furniture included. Apparently, I was the only person who bothered to give a damn. I still don't know what to do with it. I never expected anything like this. But I guess sometimes kindness boomerangs in the weirdest, wildest ways. Anyway, be nice to your neighbors. You never know who's watching or what they'll leave behind. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Same mom for my dad had tutors maybe. There are 3 people living in my house. Me, my mother, and my father. Our family was very happy, and my parents' married life was also very good. My mother is a homely housewife. She is a very simple woman who does not talk much to outsiders. A few years ago in 2021, my father got transferred out of station. I am very weak in mathematics, so we hired a tutor in January who started coming to teach me at 5 to 8 in the evening. So what happened was that yesterday, I was watching photos on TV. My TV is connected to Google account, which is my mother's account. So I saw that my mother's account was on my TV. There were some pics and videos with the tutor which were inappropriate. I have kept them locally to show it to my father, but I don't want them to get divorced and our family to break up. Please help me. What should I do? This is my temporary account, which I will delete later. Feel free to comment for advice.
I hate my lying influencer neighbor. My neighbor is an influencer who makes her money selling an image, but it's all a lie. Her socials show her as a humble mother living a small country life. She has a small home, some land, amazing views, and a lovely old farmhouse. People always comment about how she makes it look easy, and she'll say something like, "All things are possible with God." People look at her page, and it definitely makes it seem like being a mother to 8 kids and running a farm is easy. She even homeschools all of her kids. I see mothers in the comments stating that they can barely do it with 3. They don't know how she does it. She says, "You just need to have faith, and God will give you the strength." That is hard work, but a humble life is important. Anyway, she lives on a $2-point-something million property, while she owns a second house twice that size on the coast. Her photos are very strategically taken to make the rooms look small. She has live-in nannies, all of her children have tutors, a cleaning staff, they have people who work the farm and care for the animals, and all the photos of her on the land with the old farmhouse in the distance. That house? That's my house in the background. She's even flown drones over my property, video that shows up in her pages acting like it's hers. We fit the poor, humble homestead look, I guess, where her house screams money, so you never see it on her socials. I get that she's selling an image and not a reality, but I dislike dishonesty, and I hate that it feels like we are almost complicit. I hate seeing moms in the comments saying I think they want to homestead, but they're worried they can't handle it, and her telling them it's not as hard as they would think, and suggest they buy her oils to have more energy or help with fatigue, so they too can have a life like hers. It just gives me the ick so much, and I hate to hate anyone, but I hate it.
I married my friend of 10 years in secret. We're both in our early 30s, so 5 years ago I moved towns at 25 after a bad breakup. He had broken up with his ex about 9 months earlier. We were working through our breakups and ended up as FWB. At the time, we decided to keep it to ourselves because we didn't want things to get messy. A few months later, we realized we worked really well as a couple and started formally dating. Again, we decided to keep it to ourselves since the relationship was fresh and we didn't want to have to explain ourselves. Then, 6 months after we moved in together, us dating became our funny little in-joke. 22 months after we bought a house together, then a few cats. The following year, we got married in secret. Our own family doesn't know we're married. We're now coming up to our 1-year anniversary, and we're talking about children. We've been together 4 years now in total. We're not sure when the right time to tell our social group is, but right now, we're still really enjoying the peace of a quiet life. We are now wondering if we fake a formal engagement because the rabbit hole got too deep to explain. I need your advice.
Every night, my wife does something that breaks me. I'm just so overwhelmed with emotion I thought I'd share. My wife of 1 year, partner of 8 years, university sweethearts, does something every night that honestly just wipes my brain. She's always had a perfect sleep schedule, and I never have. We're working on aligning sleep now, but so far, she usually goes to bed way before I do. Let's say she goes to bed at 11 p.m. and I get into bed 2 to 3 a.m. Every night when I get into bed, she extends her leg and rests her little foot on the top of mine. Sometimes it's accompanied by a little adorable sound she makes as if she's confused. With a questioning tonality, I'm usually freezing and her foot is so toasty from having been sleeping for hours already. She sometimes also kind of pats my foot with hers. She would lay her foot on mine, then pat her toes on my foot, kind of like a hi or a all checks out gesture. She is entirely unconscious doing this. I could be having the worst day of my life and damn near pulling my hair out from stress. And as soon as she does that, I can't help but laugh and instantly deflate. It's so adorable and honest that I just basically die. People don't talk about how cute just sharing a bed can be sometimes, so thought I'd share.
My stomach has been bothering me all day and I've been super gassy. But I needed to go grocery shopping. While completely alone in the cereal aisle, I felt it brewing. You know the feeling. It got pretty intense and painful, so I had to discreetly let out the most rank and foul SBD. It was truly awful. Pungent, acidic, and burned the nostrils. Honestly, I'm fortunate it was just a fart. I was 50-50 that it would end in the ultimate disaster, but the aisle was thankfully empty and I quickly scuttled away thinking I safely pulled it off. Only when I turned the corner out of the aisle I saw you, an incredibly handsome man, walking into the cereal aisle that I just left. We made eyes and smiled at each other and I said hi and you nodded at me. But I know you unknowingly walked into my gag-inducing, eye-watering gas blast and I'm so sorry. I know you knew it was me. It had to be. There was no one else around and it was too fresh. No one should be subjected to that. I'm sorry. Do you have any similar experiences?
Throw off account to stay anonymous. 22F. I am currently 41 plus 1, so I'm already past my due date and I've tried and still am trying to go into labor naturally, but haven't progressed much yet. It's my first pregnancy to reach full term as I've had 2 miscarriages before. Since both miscarriages were less than a year apart and it was so much to bear, emotionally and physically, in such a short period of time, I spoke to my husband, 31M, and at the beginning we mutually decided to delay having children as I'm still young, and he have a long way ahead of us. The doctors confirmed that there was no specific medical reason behind both miscarriages. After we had that discussion, life went on pretty well. I was able to stop overthinking about having children, and I had a clear mind, and in fact I recovered faster than I expected, because I finally had a sense of relief that I hadn't felt since we got married. A few months that discussion, he started throwing hints and talking about it again, which would end up in a fight most of time, and 7 months after my second miscarriage, I got pregnant with this current pregnancy. It wasn't planned and I wasn't very scared at the time, but having children was a huge thing for him, but my biggest fear when we got married, as I wasn't and still am not confident that I would be the best mother for my kids. That all fades next to the fact that my mom passed away shortly after she gave birth to my younger brother due to birth complications. So I spoke openly about my fear of labor to my husband, and he has been my biggest and best supporter throughout my whole pregnancy journey. We spoke to a therapist, went to educational classes on natural birth, and he practiced all the breathing techniques to help with pain for me. He was the only person that was able to calm me down when I would have any mental breakdown because of my negative thoughts or getting through the pain of the first trimester as I had HG. I am severely anemic and am allergic to the anesthesia they give for an epidural or C-section. So obviously those are off the table for me. That even adds more pressure on me knowing that the safety of this baby all lies in between my hands. Things have taken a huge turn when I found my husband having an affair, and he wasn't even trying to hide it, without getting into details. I found this a few days ago and decided to confront him then and there, and his excuse was that we haven't been intimate for so long because of the pregnancy and miscarriages, and he just couldn't help but do that. The moment he said that, I just felt like I'm nothing but a baby-making machine for him. I immediately left the house, stayed at a hotel which he has tried to follow me and to speak about it. He was my only supportive person I wanted during birth, but at this moment I don't want to even see him. During my last routine ultrasound, which I went alone to, I then found out that he was there at the hospital, just didn't come into the room. My OB pointed out that my BP was starting to spike and told me to make sure to stay calm as for my case. An emergency surgery could risk my life because of my allergy to the anesthesia. When he knew about this and I made it clear for him to stop following me, he said at least let his mother be with me during the birth. His mother has never been the most friendly to me, as she proffered her son to marry someone from their ethnic background. I am afraid to go into labor alone without any support or an advocate with me, but at the same time I have no one in this country, and all what I can think of right now is what if any complication happens and I don't make it, but my son does. He would have to live with a grandmother that hated his mother, and that might affect how she treats him, or have to live with a stepmother when his father remarries, which I had myself suffered a lot with. When a Brixton Hicks used to hit me, he was always by my side and helped me breathe, which truly eased the pain so much, and that is nothing compared to actual labor contractions. Truly don't know what to do or how to think straight, and the more time passes, the scarier it gets. And I know being scared is not helping the baby, but I can't help it, and the thought of me dying during birth and leaving my son is taking over me to a point of crying and having anxiety attacks. Sometimes I just regret confronting him and wish I could have waited till I gave birth, and I know if I ask him to be there with me, he will, but I don't know if that's right. If you were in my shoe, what would you let him be there during birth or not? If you enjoyed these unique and interesting stories, don't forget to hit the like button. Share your thoughts and suggestions in the comments. They really help me improve. Subscribing to my channel would make me truly happy and keep me motivated. See you in the next video. Take care.